Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, what is this, the preview day? Preview day of the International Quilt Festival 2024. I am here at the AllBrands booth. My name is Ryan O'Keefe. I am the owner of Mac and Hound. I am a leather crafter, canvas worker, based in Providence, Rhode Island. Started about 8 years ago, making leather goods, expanded into bags and working with heavy duty materials. And if we're tuning our own horns while we're able to do that, just won 2024 Rhode Island's Artist to Watch, which was really fun for me. Thanks. But enough about me. I'm here with AllBrands and Reliable Sewing Machines today to talk about this new machine that they have here today, the Reliable Barracuda, which is an awesome machine. About a year ago, I got a message from Reliable saying, we love your work. We think it's really fantastic. We would love for you to try this new machine that we're testing out. We'd love your feedback. And I saw the message and I laughed because I was like, I appreciate the nice things, but here are 4 other people that I think are more deserving of that. And they sent a message back and they're like, no, you're perfect for this. We think that you'd be great for it. So they sent me the machine and I have to say, I was blown away, and I sent my feedback to them. And they were like, we would love to have you come out and show people what you love about the machine itself. And I'm happy to do so. I think this is a really great machine. So a little bit about my journey with sewing machines is I was a hand sewer for about 7 years. So everything I was doing by hand. And eventually I got into the sewing machine market. And if you're working with some heavy duty goods, for example, some of these bags that I make right here, you're talking wax canvas, leather, denim, your general heavy duty machines, the domestic machines, the tabletop machines, as heavy duty as they are not going to handle those leathers and those heavier materials with ease. And at that point, basically, my only option was this massive industrial machine that is basically bolted down to my workshop floor. And when I got the Reliable Barracuda, I was like, there's no way that this is going to work out. But you can even hear kind of in its construction is made totally differently than a lot of the other heavy-duty machines that you see on the domestic market. Completely metal, still very, very portable, which is something that I love about this machine. Because when you are limited in space as a small business owner, getting that space back is super important. So what I have right here, and I'm just going to start stitching some things so you can see kind of how it works and what it is. What I have right here is wax canvas, and it's about 20-ounce wax canvas. This is some heavy-duty stuff. And when I'm working with this, I'm generally folding it over 2-3 times. It's like having a jeans almost, if you're looking to do something like that. So we're going to do this. This is the zigzag stitch machine. So I'm going to set that to a nice, even zigzag. And watch, because we just kind of go right through that. And it just plows right through. Super simple. Go right there. Boom. And so the features of this machine, for what they gave at this price point, are pretty incredible. So give me a second while I refread this. So one of the things I really enjoy about this machine, one, is the heavy weight, the heavy dutiness of it. It's built properly. If you're working with canvas, you're working with leather specifically, you do not have room for mistakes. You make a mistake sewing leather and you are done. So you need something that you know is going to get through that material and has the right build and has the right quality behind it. And I immediately was drawn to that about this machine. The second thing I really love about this machine is something that you don't see in a lot of machines at this price point is a direct drive motor. So the direct drive motor, and you'll see in this next straight stitch that as soon as you go live on camera, everything just falls apart on you, which is super fun. Right. So the direct drive motor is great because as much as I sew, I'm still pretty much what I would call like an advanced beginner. I am in no way, some of the things I've seen here at the festival today are wild and the ability levels are crazy. I sew extremely slow. And what I love about the Barracuda is that, if we can see it right here, you have the ability to set the servo motor to a speed that you find the most comfortable. So right now I have it set to about 400. And it goes, let me hold this here, and you can kind of see, even when I'm going to set this actually a little bit lower, so you can see at a much slower pace, even if I floor this, we're going pretty slow. But if I really, really, really want to take it up to high gear, we can cruise through the same level of materials at a much quicker pace, probably the pace that you all will work at. So what I enjoy about it most is that when I'm working with leather, I'm very particular about the speed, because I know that if I make a mistake, that project is done. There is no going back and fixing those holes, no going back and repairing that project. The other thing I really enjoy about having the direct drive motor in a machine this size is that no matter how slow I go, I'm still going to have that punching power to get through that much material, which I'm going to show you here as soon as I can thread this real quick. There we go. Joe, the pressure's on, and I'm threading a needle on camera, live on the internet. The sweat is real. There we go. So, as I was saying, with the servo motor, we can go really about as slow as we like, but the torque of the motor is still going to allow us to punch through all of those materials. So let's just fold this once, fold this twice. So we've got 3 layers, like we're going to do a hem on a bag. Set that down. Got a zigzag stitch going. And we are just going to go and lock up. I'm just going to talk about the features. This is what happens when you thread a bobbin right when you get on stage. It punches through the material, no problem, when you thread the bobbin ahead of time. The other things I really enjoy about this machine is that it has a needle positioning system. So when you're working with small bits of leather, so when I do patches on my bags, I love that the needle positioner always sets the needle down at the end of the stitch. So when I'm turning corners, I'm not forgetting that, oops, the needle was in the upright and I'm not going to get that in the same spot as I did previously. I know that I can just lift that foot, turn the material, and boom, keep going. The one feature that I think is really neat about the Barracuda, which is a specialty of this particular machine, is the Cuda stitch. So when you're doing all leather goods, one thing that people really look for is your back stitch. Because generally they're showing on leather goods. The difference between doing leather and most other fabrics is that you don't have to hide your edge work. The leather's never going to fray. So what they've done here is made this really ingenious system that you can set your stitch right here with your forward speed. We're going to set it to just about a 4, and I'm going to lock it in right there. And when I'm ready to back stitch for it, instead of guessing about how fast and where I'm going with the back stitch, I'm just going to move this down and it's going to lock right at the 4 position on the reverse, and I can go right back and it will line up exactly to the previous stitches. It really is an excellent system. And you flip it right back there and you're done. The other thing that really got me was the accessories that they've included, because I think that they're very thoughtful with this machine. Starting with the light underneath the machine. So it is a rechargeable magnetic light that you just tap on and you can put really anywhere on the machine, which is the nice thing about having this all metal. So if you're a sewer, if you want to work, maybe a little bit lower out here, boom. You want to work at the normal position right up here, you got it. This flap bed accessory is excellent, folds away for storage, but gives you enough table working space to do bigger projects like bags. And the other thing is, and I don't know how many people actually do this, I know people do it, but a lot of the times with these heavy duty machines, you're using them for canvas repairs on sailboats, and you're taking them places where you don't have power to do these quick repairs. The whole thing can work on a crank on the side without power. So you can actually pop that right in there and you can sew without power and do your repairs on the boat. I might have just unlocked it there, which is great. I have to say, I'm super impressed with this machine. I wish I could show you something right now with it, but we will definitely, over the next couple of days, we have a session every single day. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a bag in 20 minutes, not a whole bag, but we'll be doing parts of a bag so I can show you different materials. We'll be talking about the machine, talking about doing leather work and heavy-duty canvas work if you're interested into getting into bags, or if you're looking into getting into some more heavy materials in the quilting process. If you've ever seen a quilted wax canvas jacket, great gift. Looks awesome. Wax canvas is such a fun material to work with, I'm telling you. But I love these machines. They come in 4 models. This is the zigzag model. This is the top end with the servo motor. There is the next level, which is just a straight stitch. If you don't need the zigzag, and I will show in further demonstration why the zigzag can be useful even in leather work. There's some really great ways to make mosaics out of leather scraps, which are really cool that you can add to projects. You can do serging for the most part if you're looking for a quick way to finish the edges of your wax canvas projects without having to go into binding. So you have a straight stitch model, a zigzag model, both with a servo motor, and then you have the regular Barracudas without the servo motor in both the zigzag stitch and the regular stitch. If you'd like to try the machine, Reliable is actually right at the end of this aisle. We're going to have this one back up and running, and we'll have the straight stitch model as well. I have a ton of material. I invite you to come by, try it out, give it a test run. We'll show you how it goes through thick bag leather, through denim, through duck canvas, through wax canvas, and really start working your way through some new projects. But I can't tell you how excited I am for these machines. Thrilled with it. Really thrilled with it. Great question, Joe. You'll probably notice that there is a double. That guy's question. You'll probably notice that there is a double pedal on this machine. The left pedal is your stitch, and your right pedal is actually your needle positioning system. So I actually, on this dial right here, you can set. There we go. You can set your needle position in the up position or the down position. Whichever you prefer. So it's, that's up to your preference. I like it in the down position. So if you do that, of course it's in error mode because of what we did. But the right pedal changes the needle position. So if you have it set in the down position, it'll always end in the down position. You push the right pedal, it goes right back into the up position, which is great. All right. What was that? Yes, Amy will be impressed a little. Yes, it is. And it's actually, there's a number of great feet that this machine comes with. And I will say that one of the bigger features of doing this is the walking foot. And this is a true walking foot machine, which is very important when you come to thicker materials, especially when you're coming over those humps. It tackles them no problem. It's really something that if you had a machine that only had a walking foot attachment, is really more of like a faux attachment. With this, you actually get the feeder dogs on both sides. It really walks it through nice and well and gets over those humps, which can become quite an issue on a bag where you're talking about not only folding over 2 layers of canvas, but another layer of denim, and then also working with a zipper, which is really cool. So it does have a good amount of lift on the walking foot. So let's see if that. No. Actually, sorry, it's very loud in here. I can't.
If the bottom fabric is moving slightly faster than the top, is there any way of adjusting it, or it automatically feeds it at the same rate.
It automatically feeds it at the same rate. So that's kind of the big difference, and the reason you would want to get a heavy duty walking foot machine versus the walking foot attachment for a regular machine is that these are working simultaneously together. So you're not going to find the same slippage between the bottom and the top, especially when you're working with and you can feel this, it's tacky, but it's not the most tacky material. This is wax canvas. Yes. And you can see how heavy that is. And I have some material back at the table, but you can see how much I punched through on it. And this is a Tex 90 thread. Yeah, so you're working with really heavy duty thread on this. Maybe that was the reason why.
Yeah, that's right.
You can go right there. Yep.
But is there any material density wise that won't feed through that third of an inch?
What
Like a half-inch upholstery.
What I would do when you're working with it, and we'll do this a little bit with the bags, is you can, if you're finding that you're working with a heavier material, and I've sewn this onto wax canvas, that is a full grain belt leather, that's some real deal stuff. What I'll do is, a little trick of the trade is I'll lift just a tad, especially if it's coming over a hump, and I'll drop it on there as it goes by. But it's still going to feed the exact same way, which is great. So let's see if we can maybe salvage this presentation within the next 2 minutes and get one going. The one thing I have not mentioned, the price point of these machines is really kind of the kicker for me, given all of the features that they're offering. The highest model of the machine, this zigzag stitch model, is retailing for $14.99. And there's a show deal today, or for the rest of the show, that these models on pre-order are $13.99, which is awesome. But for the amount of features you're getting for that price, an industrial machine that straps to your floor is going to be twice as much. We're going to, right here, I'm going to go with a straight stitch on this one.
How many feet come with it?
How many feet come with it? I believe 5 feet come with it, but it does come with quite a few accessories, which is actually
like a zipper foot, straight stitch,
zipper foot, straight stitch, roller, like a leather Teflon, I believe. I have to check on the roller. Yeah, but grab the handle. All right. We're making a mess here.
There are a couple questions online. How much does the machine weigh? And does it have a hump jumper?
A hump jumper. The machine itself it's still a bit heavy. It is fully metal. It's 40 pounds.
Yeah.
It's 40 pounds. So it's definitely worth its weight in material. But it's still quite mobile for an industrial machine. And a hump jumper. Oh, and there is an optional case that you can get it, a roller case, to keep it in and move it around, which is actually really nice, which is at the booth. But I'll take that out so you can see just how well that went through here. But that is, for example, that is something I would make a belt out of, and it just punched right through that.
Someone also asked you to show how the bottom loads.
Oh, the bottom loads? Yeah, absolutely. We can show the bottom loads. I'm going to do this one real quick, and then I'll open up the bottom so everyone can see it. It is a standard class bobbin, but let's say I want to go through here, and we'll go back to a zigzag stitch, which is right here up top. So we're setting the zigzag length, so 0 makes it become a straight stitch, which I think is really great. And then this is the width of the stitch. So we'll go right here, and right there. We're going to recover from this. I'm feeling good about this.
This is the warm-up.
This is just the warm-up. So, and this is the speed that I like to sew. This is the speed that I feel comfortable with when I'm working with heavy material, and also being very careful about a material that cannot be repaired if I make a mistake. So this is the speed, and we're, like I said, we are at 250, pretty much the slowest we can go on this machine. I actually feel like I could probably handle a 500 right here. So we're just cruising right through, no problem. And then if I want a back stitch, I'm just going to pull this down right here. It's going to lock right at the number, and we're just going to go right back. And we're just going to go right to the front again. Boom. And I have the needle positioner set to up, so it's all set there. And So we're gonna have to open this case anyway. But as you can see here, see the back stitch if you want to pass that along. But it really works.
Does the take-up lever at the high position?
Was that?
Does the take-up lever at the high position?
Yes.
It is?
This is, yes.
No, the take-up lever.
Oh, the take-up lever. Oh, no, sorry.
If it's at high,
Right there. Yes. But someone wanted to see the bobbin. So the bobbin floats right from the side here. Let's see if we can figure that out. There we go. So the bobbin comes right in here, right through the bottom. Boom. Right there. I don't know where the camera is right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's just a standard bobbin.
Size 15.
Size 15 bobbin. It's got the bobbin winder right up top, so you can do that while you're sewing. It goes right in there and locks in. Boom. Slide your plate back in, and you are all set to go.
Well, this plate comes with it?
Yeah. So this is the extended work table, which does come with the machine, which I think is great. It also comes with the USB rechargeable light, so that can stick anywhere on the machine because it's completely magnetic. And all the accessories, the feet, the bobbins, anything that you need.
Does it have a thread guide right here?
Yes. This is me being on stage, forgetting everything I've ever learned about sewing. Boom.
You have to cut the thread off at an angle to get a good feel.
I don't know how much time we have or whether we're just going to keep going.
We're not in a hurry, are we?
Colleen is at 6:30.
Okay.
We have 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll let's see if we can do one more. If we have that material, I'll show you basically what, if I can get it going without giving me another lockup. We're going to go like this.
So
Here.
the sewing capacity is a third of an inch or 8 millimeters.
So I'm going to show you what I would do in that case. So this is a normal bag leather for me. This is what we call 5-ounce leather. This is what I would make a normal tote bag out of. Still pretty thick, about half as thick as belt leather, but definitely going to stand up to the wear and tear. It's not going to stretch with everyday use, but it's going to look good. So if we were going to do something like a zigzag on this, we were going to start with here. Boom. I'm going to set the needle positioner to down. So we got that. So we're cruising.
Oh, you put leather on top of it.
Zero problems on this, which is really fun. We're going to come right off there. Boom. It's going to end in the down position. We're going to hit the right pedal to go up, lift.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
When the needle's up, it releases the thread.
Yes. But that was 3 layers of wax canvas and 5 ounces of leather in one go on a zigzag stitch going that slow. Zero problems. Outside of probably a little bit of a tension thing with the bobbin issue, but clearly easily fixable. So when you're thinking about maybe expanding what you want to do, bag classes are huge right now. It's how I got into it.
Yeah.
And my bags are probably my most popular. Absolutely, feel free. I have more bags back there you can look at, but I highly recommend if you're interested in learning more about the machine, learning more about Reliable and their other products, learning more about possibly doing more projects with wax canvas, with lined denim, with leather, or all 3, and zippers, please come by the booth. We're right here at 834, right at the end of this aisle. Happy to talk to you. Happy to get you behind this machine so you can give it a try for yourself. But I think with that, we'll get out of the way for the next person, right? Great. Thank you.
Where do you find that table?
So that is a mattress table.
And
Live and crazy. Oh boy, that's a fast. I'm Colleen. I'm a brother educator. I've been doing this for a few days now, and you can feel free to ask any questions. This is the Stellaire. So the Stellaire is a stellar machine. This unit does embroidery and sewing. And today I'm just going to talk about quilting in the hoop. Now, are any of you interested in quilting in the hoop? When I first found out you could quilt, I'm a quilter, but I have always hand quilted. When I found out that you could quilt in the hoop and have it be perfect, it was love at first sight. So I had planned to get something started, but then people asked me too many questions, so I don't have one started yet. Let me sit down so I don't feel like I'm yelling at you. But I brought a few samples so that you can get an idea. So the machine can you see the machine? He had to unplug it to bring it over here, so I have to let it wake up again. That seems fair, doesn't it? This machine has a program called My Design Center. Has anybody heard of that program before? It's the secret to the world. It's the keys to doing anything you want to do. Because with My Design Center, I can draw and design anything I want, and the machine will take it and stitch it. And her eyes are like this big because it's the truth. So I can take pictures from a coloring book and turn it into something. I can make them into being a quilt design. Don't you think that's fun? So, quilting. So the first thing I want to show you is this, because you can change the size. There's all kinds of quilting patterns in there, but sometimes they're too big or too small for you. But the machine says, I got this. Let me make it bigger or smaller for you. And it will take it down to 50%, and it will take it up to 200%. So if you think about that, for a little quilt, you don't want 200%, right? And for a big quilt, you don't want 50%. You need that span. And this shows that. So that is the standard one. That's down 50. That's up 200. And then you can also rotate it, so it looks completely different. So if I have triangles, I can make them look completely, different than they would be. So I love that piece of it. Now, another thing that you can do, if you're so inclined, is we have software where you can create your own quilting backgrounds. And so I live in Washington State, so I made some that are the symbols of Washington, the whales, the trees, things like that. So I could have fun with it. Now this little fella, here's another one. This one's probably even easier to see the sizing on. That one's probably easier to see it, isn't it? It's more clear. Okay. And then here are just a few samples. Like I said, there's a lot of them in there. And of course you can draw your own. And with this machine, you have the ability to create something in the My Design Center and then embroider it in the hoop. It does the stippling. It does a whole bunch of other stuff too, though.
Okay, that's what I just wanted.
Yeah, stippling is okay, but don't you kind of get bored with it?
No, because I make my own.
Okay, see, you do your own. So, I do my own too.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to do your own. And it's fun to make it somebody's special interest. If their special interest is, I don't know, buying shoes. We all have that shoe friend. Or flying an airplane. You can make that be the quilting design that you're using. So to me, that was like, wow, that is super cool. Now this little fella, well, let's see. We're going to go to this guy next because a lot of people are afraid to start. This is just straight line stitching. So anybody can do that, right? But you could also go back in and put in some pretty frills. So that's another one. This is one that I created. It's Spider-Man, so I made spider webs. Isn't that fun? And that's really easy to do. Anything that you can draw. And I'm not going to say that I use a lot of coloring book drawings, but I don't have a whole lot of talent, and coloring book drawings are pretty easy to use. So I think that one's a fun one. Now this guy, and I don't pass things because I find they don't always make it back to me. But I'm at the table right behind us. So when I'm done, if you want to come and see them and touch them, you're certainly welcome to do that. So this one has several different ones. It has, this one is triangles. This one is leaves. These are little bitty triangles. Although I'm sorry, those are diamonds. So it has a whole bunch of different, oh, look at him. He's so good. Look at this. He knows what he's doing. Isn't that cool? Now, this one I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it so you can show the back side of this one. Whoopsie. So this one's like scribble quilting. It's got swirls and curls, and I'm going to put it right there.
Did you put it on the embroidery arm?
Yes. I'm trainable. Slowly, but I'm trainable. Hello. I see you there. So this one is one that's built into the machine, and I love it because it swirls and twirls, and you can match these up as if you're doing a great big piece. Now, I don't know if you all are bag ladies, but I am. I love these little bags. Do you love them? Okay. So what I do is I just take a big rectangle or square of fabric and quilt it. And then I add the zipper and the boxed corners. And I've got these bags, and my friends think I'm a genius. Isn't that the greatest Christmas gift ever? Everybody needs a bag. Little kids for their toys, college kids for their hairbrushes. I mean, you'll be the hero of the day. And the machine did all the quilting for me. So I love, 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 love these. Now, let's take you into actually using the machine. And I have to figure out where I need to be out of his way so that you can see the screen. I don't know. Is it good? Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay. Yay. So this is the still air. And I'm going to take it to my design center because that's where all the quilting stuff hides. Are you familiar with the My Design Center piece? Oh.
We have the 16.
Okay.
And we're coming back to our area tomorrow.
Okay.
So
And
is
the,
that similar to your My Design?
My Design Center, yes. And we also have that on the 10 needle. So we have it on the 10 needle, we have it on the still air, we have it on the luminaire. We have it on several machines, so it's pretty easy. And it works like you'd think it would, right? So what I'm going to do first, because I'm showing off, and I get to do that. So in my design center, because you know this is fun, I just wrote my name with my very own finger. It comes with a stylus, but I didn't bring it up. Are you ready? Next. That's an embroidery design. Now, I've done some really fun things. After my father passed away, I took his recipe card that he made for Christmas cookies every year, and I scanned it and I gave it to the kids as tea towels. So there's so many fun things that you can do with this. But now I'm going to take you back to show you how to quilt. So I'm going to go to my design center, and I have a hoop here, and I have batting in it. I think I might have the batting on the bottom, which was the wrong thing to do, but I was hurrying. You know how that is, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to use one of the fills. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to give it a shape. So I'm going to give it, this is an empty shape, so I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to size it, because I can make it the size that I want it to be. I want it to be bigger, not smaller. And maybe a little taller. Here we go. Hopefully I haven't gone outside the range of my hoop. It'll yell at me if I did. It doesn't trust me. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm not going to worry about the outline because that's not important to me. But what is important to me is the fills. Because you've seen the fills I got. They're fun, huh? So let's go in here and let's look at the fills. So that's regular, just a fill stitch. We don't want that. This guy right here is stippling. And the stippling's cool because I can make it bigger and smaller and do anything I want. But this is the home game right here. So I'm going to tell him that I want to choose one of those. So I have all of these to choose from. All of those and all of those. Plus, if I had my software, I could make my own more ones. Is that fun? So is there anyone that really excites you? Anybody got something they're just dying to see? No? Okay. We're going to do one I've not done before because I want to see how I like it. So you're my testing guineas. You don't mind that, do you? No, I'll do this guy. I love him. I'll do him. And tell him, okay. Whoopsie. In green. And there he is. Okay. That was hard, wasn't it? No, not so hard. Shall I make him littler? Okay. When I touch next, it says, well, how big do you want him to be? Do you want him to be 100%? Do you want him to be 200%? And I just push it over here and it goes, look, you've got 200%. This will change the angle. I haven't changed it yet. It will when I change it. I can change the angle so that my vertical diamonds become sideways. I can put an outline around it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it big. Now I'm going to go down to 150. And I'm going to set it. And preview. And there it is. Is that cool? It was hard to do though, wasn't it? Yeah? All right, so now I'm going to put that into memory because I'll probably want to do it again and I won't remember what I did. So I'm going to put that into memory, and there's machine memory or stick memory or another stick memory, but I'm going to just go to that one. And then I'm going to tell it to set it. And it tells me it's going to convert it to embroidery, and then I won't be able to change it. And I'm going to tell it that's okay. And I'm going to tuck it into memory on this side because I want to go back to it again. And I'm going to touch embroidery. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I was afraid of that. I made it too big. What am I going to do? I can resize it. So let's go to edit. Let's go to size. Now, do you know the difference between the empty box and the box with lines in it? You don't, do you? I'm going to tell you the difference. So if you choose the box with no lines in it, then it won't change the stitch count. Okay? The stitch count will stay the same. I want it to take over and change the stitch count for me so that it will have the same density. The size will be changed, and so will the density. So I'm always going to go to the guy with stitches in it. And I'm going to touch that. And it says, is it okay? And I got to tell it, yes, it is okay for you to do that. And then I'm going to make it smaller. And then I'm going to go to okay and embroidery. And I'll pop it into memory again. And then now when I touch go, she'll go. Let's see. And I'll just let her stitch. She's so quiet and she's so perfect. Do you have any questions? Because I kind of went through that fast. But she's so quiet and she's so easy and she's so perfect. I showed Winnie the Pooh, yes. That's a secret. So I'll show you when she's done fit stitching. In fact, I'll make her stitch a little faster. No, that's okay. So what you can do if you want her to go around a design, and good eye, I was waiting to see if someone caught that. You pick your design and you ask the machine to outline it. And it outlines it. And then when you go to add the quilting, it doesn't quilt over it. Okay? She's smart. And she listens really well. Isn't she pretty? So let me just see. Is it worth it for me to speed it up? I had her going slow, so let's see. Nope. I'm just going to let her go the speed she was going and call it good. But she's so pretty. Do you have any other questions? I went through that pretty fast, but what? Okay. What she'll do is she'll bring it, you can match point the sides, and you can just make little marks. Like I'll take a square and I'll make little marks on the four sides, top and bottom. And then I'll make sure that I use this where it's going to finish, where there's going to be a little connection. And I'll stitch that, and then I'll stitch up the next connection, and you just go through it. It may take you a little bit of fussing to get them so that they're balanced, right? So you have this piece matching this piece, but it's very possible to do. And she does a beautiful job. And there's no limit to how much you piece together that way. You can just go forever and ever and ever. So I have several that I've done that are fun. Just stuff I created because I can. And then, like I said, this is probably one of my favorite things to do with it is to make these cute little bags. But I quilt whole quilts this way. Baby quilts, little kid quilt, big quilt, because they're fully quilted. They're very sturdy because the quilting is so well done because the machine is so good. And then you get a perfect design. Any other questions? No. Does that mean I did a good job or you did an awesome job? I love this machine. She's a lot of fun. She can do just about anything. With the My Design Center where I can draw, design, and create, I can write my own name, I can write a recipe. I just have to take a picture of it with an app, and the app is free. And you just take a picture and send it to the machine, and she'll go ahead and digitize it for you. And you just touch in what colors you want where. I should have done that before I started stitching, but you can just touch an area and fill it in with colors or a special type of stitch. Sometimes the quilting stitches, sometimes the other kinds. I could just stop her if you wanted to stop. What? My mic fell? Oh, is my mic on? Okay. I don't know. Where is it? Oh, this. Sorry. See, I'm naturally blonde. Don't mean to say that offensively, but I really am. So. Thank you so much for coming to see us. Have a wonderful day. This is for you.
Hello.
All right. So Jerry and I are very excited. For anybody else who wants to come too, we are very excited to talk about the new Aveneer. So I'll stay over here so my mic doesn't. I'll go over here. Is that better?
Okay. Feedback keeps
I'm
the
right
audience
there.
awake.
Okay. So we have the new Aveneer. We're very excited to share with you. So Jerry and I are teaming up tonight because we're only going to give you some of the new things, and tomorrow and the next day we're on for a long time. Three times a day. I
3
think?
times a day.
All right. So, what machine do you have? I don't know. Doesn't do that. Welcome. Oh, hey.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, so newbie. All right. So, Jerry, why don't we show them some of the new things? How's that? Why don't we show them some of the new things? I mean, everything that the Luminaire did, the Aveneer does now. And tomorrow we're going to be showing a lot of that with the sewing, and it still does a lot of the fabulous quilt embroidery. But there's a couple new things. The biggest tube ever.
Absolutely. Yep, we have 11 5/8 by 18 1/4. We lovingly call this the hula hoop. It's great for wrangling children, grandchildren. Just put it right over, take them wherever you want.
It's huge. So I can embroider an entire sleeve, half my leg, you name it.
Yeah.
But not only that, the projector on this machine is bigger than the Luminaire.
Yes.
So now it's 5x7.
Yeah,
And so we should show them this.
absolutely. So we're going to go to embroidery first.
Welcome, everyone.
Hello. We're getting them in as we go.
Welcome.
So we're going to go to our embroidery category. And one of the big changes too is now they have changed it so all of your designs are categorized. So I love that. They make it nice for being able to see clearly and see exactly what it is you're looking for. So we'll go to food because I love it. And so now
I
we're going
vote
to
ice cream.
Yeah, I'm all about the ice cream. So now we're in that. We're going to go to the projector. I'm going to attach my embroidery frame.
This is amazing.
Look at that.
So if you're watching live and you're not here, you might be seeing a rainbow. The rainbow's not included with the ice cream. But look at how huge this area is. But not only that, you can now adjust your design on right there on your
On
mat.
the bed of your machine. Absolutely. So what's nice is you now have tools that are going to pop up, and you can adjust your size, you can rotate, you can do all of those adjustments on your design right from your hoop. You don't have to toggle back and forth between the machine and the hoop.
I love that. I'm sorry, what? When you're changing size, yes. So also, if you're working on something precise, instead of having to go back to the screen over here and move it around and then go back and wait for the projector's always on, and you can move it, adjust the size, you can rotate it,
Yeah.
all of those things. And if those little boxes get in your way, you can move them around to a different side, and you can also just make it go away.
Just get rid of them. Yep.
Are you able only to go 20% up and down?
20%. I'm sorry.
Percentage wise, are you able only to go 20% up and down with sizing, or can you go as large or small as you want?
Well, when you're adjusting any size of embroidery, you can adjust it. There's a density button. What we call it a density. What's the technical name for it?
That's
Density. That's it.
it.
Thanks, Sharon.
Of course, I'm there for you.
And then, so you can either adjust where it will only go up to a certain size, or you can click the density button and it will go whatever size you want and adjust the stitches to keep the design. Yes, that's the word. What time is it tonight? I need coffee.
7:05.
Yeah, 7:05. All right, great question though. So, all right, so there's the embroidery. There's so much more, but how many of you, I'd love to know, how many pictures do you have on your phone? A lot? Like 100? Too many?
7,500 online, but who's counting? Don't judge.
7,500?
Don't judge.
Oh,
I have
that'd be
7,500.
fun going through those, Jerry. So now we have something in here called picture play. So you can still use software, but this is so much easier. So Jerry, why don't we show them
Let's
picture
do
play?
that. Picture play
This is a little addictive though. I
is
have
going
to
to
warn you.
blow. It's going to blow your mind. All right, so let's get out of here. Let's come back to embroidery. Right here is the magic button, Picture Play Embroidery. Touch that, and we're going to select an image. I don't think we have one.
So you can actually have an image, and he's going to show you that you can scroll. Well, hello, Jeff. You can actually scroll through your phone just like Instagram and pick different filters, and it will turn it into embroidery like that.
We had a power issue.
Okay, while he's turning it back on, I want to share.
We're having power issues, by the way.
He said the table might be wobbly.
It might be wobbly, so.
While he's rebooting that, a couple things that I want to point out about the new machine. One, I actually did a master class for it that has 70 videos to show you how to use it. And I also have 4 embroidery collections that's included in it. And I'm not wearing one right now, but.
They are fabulous, by the way. If you love Angela's designs, they're gorgeous.
There's the rose collection. Well, this is just one of the many collections. I love roses. I'll be wearing that shirt tomorrow. Do any of you watch my live shows on Wednesdays? Okay, so this is the one I made that was supposed to be a shirt that I accidentally cut off too short. And now it's a halter. But this was embroidered in there. The hoop is so huge, and also, which we don't have up here, but we have 2 machines set up when you're finished here. There's a table that goes right here to help that huge hoop from keeping it stable. All right, Jerry, you ready for a picture play?
We're getting there.
Almost,
We're back up and
almost.
running. Talk amongst yourselves.
So again, you can take your picture from your phone, send it to the machine. We have it in a USB right now. And you can also use, you've got our Xperia and those other things. When the photo goes in here, you can scroll through, pick different filters. You can take the background away. You can adjust the size, and then you hit embroider, and you have a really big cup of coffee, depending on how big your picture is, and it will embroider it out. And we have some samples of that over here too. We have a horse.
We do.
Do you have your horse?
I have my horse. Right straight from the horse's mouth. Look at that.
I'll pass it around.
That's artwork, folks. This is something. So think kids, grandkids,
So
pets.
this is a picture of a horse that turned into embroidery. I'll let you guys pass it around, and we'll chase you down if you take it.
I know where you all live, by the way. Just saying. So I got the rose all pulled up here.
All right, we're ready to go back.
Yeah.
Got the rose.
We have the rose. And so what's amazing is there's 3 little icons down here, and they all do something different. Let's say you have a picture of a child, grandchild. You love the picture, but you don't like the background. Look at this. You have one-touch background removal. And what it will do is it will remove the background, leaving just the image. So this just takes a while for it to, see how it took the background away?
I love that feature.
Isn't that incredible? I have a lot of pictures. I love the picture, but I'm not real crazy about the background. So we'll turn that off, and notice it just comes right back. So the next little icon too, this is a frame. So if you want to have very square corners, you could have that. Maybe you want rounded corners, you could do that as well. Maybe you want to take your picture and put it in a circle. You can do that, and you can crop the image from here.
All from right on the machine. Now, I know a lot of people use software, so you can do that there, but how easy is it to do it right here, and then you turn it into embroidery?
We can also fit it to the frame, so you can choose which frame size you want. Now watch the picture move and adjust according to the frame that I've chosen.
I love that.
We'll go to next. You want to talk about
Oh,
the
this is my
styles?
favorite part.
Mine too.
So this is where you can scroll through, and there's different filters, just like you see. I always use Instagram as an example. If you're not Instagram, you probably are like, what are you talking about? So, like let's go black and white.
Yeah, pencil sketch. I love
That one looks really cool.
It looks awesome.
So it just takes a couple seconds, and then it will turn it into embroidery. I always say you need a couple good cups of coffee, because it does take a while to stitch out, because it's a lot of stitches, but I mean, it's your photograph. So by the way, I have a new photo. For those of you who watch my show, did you see the one where I had I don't know how I got this photo, but the raccoon is sniffing the skunk's butt. And I'm going to embroider it and give it to my nephews. Try to explain that at Christmas. I don't know, but look at that. Isn't that cool?
Look at that. That's amazing.
And then you just turn it into embroidery.
Could you imagine all those beautiful shades of grays and blacks? But there's also like Art Deco, Art Nouveau, stained glass. You can take all of your photos and you can adjust them on these different styles, or you can just stick to the original.
So, Jerry, I think we still have time. I'm sure a lot of you are here because you quilt. So there's a really cool foot over there. Right there. Yeah. This is something brand new for Brother.
It is the stitch regulator. Woo. We didn't have it before. We have it now. You've been asking for it, and Brother has delivered in a huge way. Yes, indeed. Clap if you want. That's fine. Get up, dance, sing, whatever you feel you need to do. The magic part is this right here. It's a sensor, and it senses the movement of the fabric underneath the foot, and it will adjust the stitches accordingly. So maybe you want shorter stitches, longer stitches. If you've ever been intimidated by free motion quilting, or you've never done it before, this eliminates so many of those variables. It takes all of the scariness out of free motion quilting.
Wait, did you just hear that? It just told you that it's moving.
Would you like to tell them about the voice guidance that's on this?
Squirrel.
Yeah.
So by the way, the machine talks to you, and I've read the reviews, and people are like, I do not want somebody talking to me. Well, by the way, there's some pretty handsome voices there. Well, there's sexy voices too. But also, you can turn it off. But I will tell you, I forgot it was on, and I was on the other side of the room, and I heard this voice say, your bobbin thread is running out. So that was pretty cool. All right, back to you.
Screwdriver.
Oh, right here.
We have the screwdriver?
We've got the screwdriver.
Oh, see, I didn't see it.
All right, so he's going to show you this because this has 3 different feet, 3 settings, super easy to use. I'm not a big quilter, but I love doing free motion and I love doing thread painting. And now my stitches won't be like 4 millimeter, 1 millimeter. They're all going to be consumed. Are you laughing? Have you done that before? Oh, I thought I saw it. I feel so much better.
They're design opportunities. That's all it is.
Now, I do have a question because quite a few people have come over and have already put a down payment on this machine, and it's the first time they're really seeing it. Have any of you done that? Yay! She's Wolfpack.
No
number
pressure.
2.
Let's all stare at her. That'd be great. Oh, she's Wolfpack too?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
So let me show you how easy it is to insert a foot. There are 3 feet that will come with this. You get an open toe foot, a closed toe foot, and an echo foot. And all you have to do, literally, you can keep the needle on, slide it right in, and it locks right into place. There's a little button on the back if you want to take it off. You just pull that towards you, and it releases the foot. It's just that simple.
And there's 3 feet.
There's 3 feet, absolutely. So now what you're going to do is plug it in. You're going to go to your sewing screen, which is what we have up, and we're going to plug it in. Can I do that? Oh, look at that. First time.
You do it without
Now it's going to, yeah. So now it's going to tell me that I'm in free motion. And notice that the free motion comes up right away. That's your menu. And you know, we love Brother because they keep things simple. It's as simple as that. You have 3 modes to choose from. Number 1 is intermittent. Number 2 is continuous. And number 3 is basting.
Intermittent. I can never say that right.
Intermittent.
Intermittent. Look what's on the screen.
Yeah, so look at all the lighting that you have available. So what's amazing is Brother said, okay, well, we'll give them a stitch regulator. Oh, no, we're going to give them even more than just a stitch regulator. What's nice about this, if you notice the green line here, let me see if I can change that color so it makes it a little easier to see. Oh, look, we have 16 colors to choose from.
16. I love that because you don't know what color fabric you're going to use, and now you can see those lights so much better on there.
And so we have this is called a sensor line. And what that does is it gives you a visual idea of where the sensor is underneath the foot. So that means that as you're quilting down or whatever, you're doing your project, you know that once you go past that line, the sensor is unable to read your fabric moving anymore. Now, as quilters, we always leave a little bit of backing and batting. You're going to leave about 1.5 inches around your project, and then the sensor will be able to read that. So, but isn't that nice though that Brother did that? Now you have because a lot of the time with the other manufacturers, what happens is you start working on your project and all of a sudden your stitch regulator stops working and you're not sure why, because you've passed the sensor and you didn't realize it. Brother said, oh no, we're gonna give them a line so that they can clearly
Go outside
see.
the line and you'll be stitching like we were before.
And you also get a little status box as well. And what that does is that tells you the where your stitch regulator at any given moment. So we're not using it right now, so it's red. But once we start using it, it'll go green.
Okay, you got to show them also. It does more than just straight stitch.
It does. It does more than that. So let's close out. If you want to do intermittent mode in straight stitch or zigzag, you can free motion that way. Continuous mode, you can do straight stitch or zigzag. And in basting mode, you can do a straight
Have fun
stitch.
at the show. Oh, I always
Squirrel.
There's so much to see here.
I know.
Okay, that's very cool. So have you seen this before? I mean, this is a brand new one for Brothers. So someone had said, is this going to be coming out on the Luminaire? No, this is an entirely new, different machine. It's not an upgrade to the Luminaire. So I know a lot of people thought that maybe that's what it is. It's not.
Yeah, so it's an amazing feature. Again, if you've ever tried free motion, and I understand it can be overwhelming when you first try because you're using a foot pedal and you're trying to adjust the speed of your hand moving and the speed of the machine, it can be a little overwhelming. This eliminates all those variables. So you just have to worry about concentrating and focusing on moving the fabric or moving your project, whatever it is. And the machine just follows right along with you.
Okay, so I have a question. Do we still have, we're not getting cut off yet? No. So, how many of you sew garments? Yes. So, how many of you love sewing buttonholes? Everybody's always like, no. Well, first of all, Brother has a new foot, and I will go grab that. Oh, it's right there.
We have
the foot. So, this is the foot from the Luminaire. And it has a metal plate at the bottom. When you slide your fabric through, you can embroider on super thin fabrics, knits, anything like that, and not embroider, buttonholes, and they turn out gorgeous. But what about placement?
Yeah, so the thing about buttonholes is you've had to mark in the past, in the old days, we used to have to mark everything, right? Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Watch this. Give it a second.
Wait for it.
Wait, it's coming. It's got wait here. There we go.
Oh, I forgot to projector. I got so excited I hit the buttonholes.
Do you see this buttonhole right here? Folks, that's not a sewn buttonhole. That's a projected
Bringing you in. He says,
buttonhole.
move your hand.
Move my hand. Get my big finger out. My Godzilla claws out.
There it is. Yeah. Now, show them if, I think this has to go down. What if you're using a bigger buttonhole or a smaller? When you move this right here, it will change the size right there. So you know exactly what size buttonhole is going to go on your, whatever you're sewing.
Did you see it make that change? Isn't that incredible? So it automatically adjusts the size of the buttonhole for you.
See, Jerry, I told you I was going to take one of the buttons off your shirt to do this. So
Yeah.
now we did it without it. We just faked it. You're fine.
I'm going to have no clothes left at the end of the festival. Everyone's going to tear it apart and use it for something. But folks, this is not an actual buttonhole. This is a project. So that means you can audition all of your buttonholes before you even sew a stitch. And it looks, look at the stitching in there. It's so beautiful.
Okay, there's more. What about if you want to line up a whole bunch of buttonholes, like your shirt? Or you can go this way or that way. All right, I'll hit the magic button.
This is incredible.
Yeah, this is super cool.
Look at all of this information that's now on the bed of your machine.
So can you guys see that there?
You see it?
I never can tell what's showing. So on here, again, you can still use your stylus to change the width of your buttonhole, the length, the stitching, and you can change the colors, all those different options. But all these lines here is how you can line up your buttonholes. So you can even have an extra line come up so you can put the edge of your fabric there.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, all the information is right here. So you can make all of your changes right from the bed of your machine.
All right, so come to this screen here, Jen, on the camera. So on the camera, on here, this shows you all the different options for the buttonholes where you can change those different dimensions. So, okay, so we have to still mention, not all of you have had a Luminaire or anything like that. So we still have edge-to-edge quilting. We still have My Design Center. We still have, what's the one where you can do the octagon?
Oh, the octagonal. Yeah, that's the AllBrands quilting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and we still have all of those features. So everything that was in the Luminaire is in here. And then these are the 4 of the coolest features, but there's a lot more. So we will have machines over here if you want to come and see them, if you have questions. Show them some more of your samples because
Okay.
a lot of people were asking about some of those.
So this is a sample that I
There's
did.
that rose.
So there's the rose that we did. This is called oil pastel. So that was done with oil pastel. So you remember the rose? It was a rose with the green leaves. That has completely transformed that picture. Now I could very easily stitch out the original, but I just wanted to do something a little different. And it's really amazing.
That's beautiful. How many Disney designs are built into this? Do you remember offhand?
217.
I knew you'd remember. 217. That's a lot of Disney designs.
That's a lot of Disney designs.
So, and also, this machine works with Artspira.
It does.
So we've all gotten used to using that app.
Yeah.
A lot of cool features.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Artspira, come and talk to us after this presentation. We'd love to talk to you about it.
And another thing, a lot of you weren't here when we started. So they're giving a bundle with this machine that includes a master class that I put together of 70 videos that you can watch whenever you want to. There was so many videos it knocked him over.
He was so blown away by that.
4 embroidery collections and a huge 50 thing of thread. So there's a lot of things, a lot of education. And also we have a brother show every Tuesday at noon that shows you how to use all brother products. Anywhere from ScanNCut all the way up. Well, this one will be coming out soon.
It will. I'm excited.
Yes. So do you guys have any questions?
I don't know why worms come out when it rains, so I can't answer these kind of questions. I just cannot.
So I hope you have fun. There's a lot of other machines here in the AllBrands booth. If you can play on them, there's the airflow serger, which we love. And of course, the multi-needle if you're really into embroidery, because then you can embroider fast. Just keep your fingers out of the way.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We'll be here all week, and we've got a lot of live shows. So great to meet you.
Thank you. No, I didn't. Yeah, these are from the designer. You have to come by tomorrow and see my
I switch this up here. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Donnell McAdams, and I am from So Steady, which you probably recognize as the company that makes the tables. And we have a couple of great package deals. We're right over there. You can actually see the tables and all of that. And I'll be happy to demonstrate the features and get you set up with the right table. All you need to know is the machine, make, and model, and they're all custom cut for you. So the title of ours is What's New at So Steady. So realistically, I've got a bunch of stuff here that you got to pretend there's a machine sitting right here in front of me, okay? So with that machine sitting here, this is our suspension system. And what this is these are very strong, I don't know for sure what you want to call them. I call them arms that I would put my quilt in, and it would allow me to have that underneath my machine, not under my machine, but under my needle. And I could do my free motion work, I could do my ruler work, I could sew on my binding, and this is holding the weight up. So it's kind of like having two of your best friends over to hold the quilt while you work on it. And it really makes it a lot easier. Now, if you're doing a large quilt, you're probably going to be getting a second set. They come two in a box, and believe it or not, those two came out of this box. And that way you have enough that you can do 3 across and 1 on the side. So I've done up to a queen size. It was minky on the back and flannel on the front. And you're probably going, "Ooh, that sounds heavy." And it was, but that's why I loved my suspension system. So you have cards on your seats there that you can take and later just register for our door prizes. All you got to do is take your camera and scan that code, and you'll be able to register for our door prizes. So what else is new at So Steady? Well, you can kind of see a crowd gathered over here on the corner, and that's because they're looking at what's called our circles and straights tool. And this will go on any machine. And so this will adhere to your flat surface. This just peels off, and it will adhere to your flat surface. And what you would do, I'm going to put it up here on the screen so you can see it. You would align it so that your needle's dead center in this window. And then you would put this piece on wherever you decided the size of your circle should be. So if I'm doing an 8-inch circle, I'm going to line it up with that 8. And then I'm going to line it up with the center line, because this is then a pin, which is nothing more than a glorified thumbtack, okay? And so I would put my fabric on there, and it's going to go in a circle. And if you just stop over there afterwards, you can see all of the different fun projects we've done, because it will do all of your decorative stitching in a circle. And this mat is $35. It's 20% off here for the show. And some of the machine companies, I probably should just whisper, they have these things that only go up to about 10 or 12 inches, and they're like $150. This one is only $35, and it's going to go clear up to 29 inches. So that's one of the other tools that we have that's new. Now, if you have an embroidery machine, you're going to love this new thing. It's actually something that we've had, but we just decided we'd better show it, and that is our hoop organizer. And so what this will allow you to do, if you have a pegboard or however, you can actually put it into the wall, but you can see how your hoops could sit right on there, and it will organize those hoops for you. So it kind of looks like this when you have the hoops, so that you can kind of see that right there. Something else that we have that not a lot of people know about is what's called a light stick, real original name. But this light stick has a button on it that all you have to do is touch it, and this will come on. And I put this underneath my So Steady table, and it will actually plug into my machine because I have a USB port on my machine. And this allows me to be able to pull out my drawer, and I can then use that as a light table, whether I'm transferring designs or even paper piecing. It's great for paper piecing because you can see right through your fabric. So that light stick is able to be used with any of our tables, and it's a very easy thing to add on. It's not so easy to put back in this, obviously, so I'll deal with that later. And then we have new templates. Now, our templates that we've had in the past have always been like individual designs, and we have been wanting something to connect those. So we now have a 2-piece connector set. So if you're doing a design, you can do the different designs, and then you can use these 2 templates to actually connect those designs together. So I'll show you a couple of samples, and they're truly just samples because I was just playing with them. So you can see here on that one, I did several different designs, and then I just used the connectors. That's because I can't free motion, guys. I can't do it. I have to have something to follow. So you can see how I connected those. And then the other connector does loops. So down here on this row of stars, I just did a star and did a loop, did another star and did a loop. And so you can do all kinds of connections on those individual designs, and that's with our new connector set. And we have embroidery now. So we have taken some of our designs and digitized them so that now you can do them without actually knowing what ruler work is all about. I want to make sure I get this up correctly. But can you see? That's all done with your embroidery machine. So we've taken our designs and actually put them together with digitizing. I'm going to show you the other side because that's probably an easier way to see it. It's really kind of a lot of fun because you don't even have to invest in the templates, and you can get the different designs there. And the thing that's fun about this, if you find a place that you feel is empty, you can just take your templates and go back and fill it in, and you will have that space so that it's not completely empty. Now, one of the template sets that we have, or one of the embroidery sets that we have, is our feather set. This is one of our newest ones, and that feather set has circular feathers and a lot of different designs in it, and it comes in a bunch of different formats. And if you have long arms, you can actually get the designs that'll work for your long arms. And over in the booth, let me show you this way. You can see some of those designs. But over in the booth, I have what are called look books that you can look in and see all of the different designs that you can do. Now, this is one from I didn't bring the actual embroideries over, but this is one from our Starry Nights set. So you can see that. Maybe you can see it better there. This is all done with embroidery. And the designs come in multiple sizes. You're going to see that this one is from our edge to edge. How big that is. That's all one design. But you can also do it smaller. We realize not everybody has the same size hoops. So those designs that I showed you there most recently are in what are our brand new edge to edge designs. So does anybody have any questions? I really kind of need to take you on a field trip, to be honest, just right over there so that you can see it. And you can see that machine sitting there. There's a brother, and I'm not sure what the number is, but it's all set up for embroidery. And you can see the suspension systems all on it to hold that embroidery up. So a lot of fun new things. Pretty much the sky's the limit anymore on what we can do. And if you've never done ruler work, I'd love to demonstrate that for you. And I have a machine set up in the front. So Don't forget to register for the prizes on there. And I guess that's about all I have for this. So thanks for joining us, and come on over. I'll show you some more.
Okay, guys, so today we are going to talk about quilting with your ScanNCut. Okay, so the basic premise of the ScanNCut is if you can scan something in, you can cut it back out. Having said that, there are over 1,300 patterns built into both the 325 and the 330D. I've got the 330D here. That means it's got Disney built in. So in addition to the 1,308 patterns that are built in, there are additional Disney patterns, and I think it's like 152, maybe 182. Don't quote me on numbers. I'm never good at that. Okay, it's just somewhere around there. So 1,300, 150 something, maybe 180 something. All right. It also comes with the rotary. This one comes with the rotary auto blade kit in it, which gives you an additional 63 rotary auto blade patterns. What's different about this? The normal blade. What's magical about it is that it's spring action, so it automatically detects how thick the fabric is and adjusts the blade depth and pressure for you. What's automatic about this one is it adjusts the angle. So just like your rotary blade that you cut with, this one basically it'll roll just like, and it'll basically adjust those angles around. It cuts 1 millimeter at a time. So if it needs to cut 3 millimeters, it'll go around 3 times. Okay. No, it does not know that. That's where you come in on this one. What's automatic about this one is not that it detects that fabric thickness, is that it changes the angle for you. Now the others, on the other hand, this one will detect how thick your fabric is, or whatever you're cutting, whether it be cork, foam, whatever you're cutting, it will automatically detect that thickness. And if it can't cut through it all at one time, it knows it has to go back around multiple times, and it will do it until it's done. But let's talk about what's built into this one. So if we look at our patterns, this is where you find all of your built-in content. And if you go to the second page of this one, you'll notice that there are quilt patterns right here. It looks like there's only 2. Now it looks like there's only 7. But there's not. There's 140 of these built in. And they are kind of magical, I will have to say. You arrow down until you see no arrows to go to. But when you select the pattern, you tell it what the finished size block you want, what you want your block to be at a finished size. You don't do seam allowances, you don't do any of that. It automatically does it for you. So if I tell it I want it to have a 6-inch block, it's going to be a 6-inch block. That would be my finished size. So let me go down to 6. Oops. When I get close, then I'll start tapping. You're fine. I'm just talking. So you say, okay. And then you go in and you select your piece. And it's going to show you automatically how many you have going on. And you say, okay. It tells you need 4 for a block. So we've got 4 pieces here. And if I wanted to do 2 blocks, how many would I do? I do have to do a little math there, so I would say 8, right? But I tend to cheat because I want to do more than one. I know that. And so I'll just sit there and tap until I get an obnoxious number, say set, and it'll tell me I can only do 12. At that point, I'll back it down to how many I can do on my 12 by 12 mat. You could also cut on the 12 by 24, but we do not have a fabric mat for that, and I like to do the fabric mat. Now, I don't know, we've asked for it, but I don't know if it's coming or not. I have treated my fabric with a heavy-duty starch, okay? You can do Material Magic, you can do a heavy-duty starch. Mary Ellen's Best Presses, I'm not supposed to say that out loud. Okay, so it really needs to be a heavy-duty starch, and that is not a heavy-duty starch. You need to do a heavy-duty starch. Thin fabric auto blade, because all we have is treated cotton. We are not doing any specialty fabrics, and we're going to pop it right in there. I've got a full mat, so I really don't even have to scan it in, but if you wanted to, you can. Now, if you want to draw, you're going to cut face down for this process because it automatically mirrors the pattern for you. It's going to draw in your seam allowances if you want it to. You always want to draw first and cut second, because your fabric will have the most grip to it at that point. Now, having said that, I'm not going to cut out 12 of these today. All right. That's a little bit more than I want to waste of fabric that I want to waste when I'm not going to actually make this. I loaded that mat awfully quick. Let me go back and do that again so I can share with you the trick that you want to do for loading your mat. All right. You have grooves on the side of your machine. I want you to load your mat to where it's inside the grooves. I want you to put your hand right here so that it actually gives it a little bit of pressure. And then you're going to press the load button on your machine. When it goes under the roller, remove your hand. That is your way to ensure that your mat does not go in crooked. If you do not do that, if you have a tendency to push it like this, it may go in left or right. And once it goes in crooked, it's going to tend to go in crooked every time because it will build grooves into it. So if you learn to load it right the first way, you're not going to have problems. All right, I'm going to go into the edit of the machine. Since I said I only want to cut one of these blocks because I only want to cut one piece so you get to see me cut and you get to see me drop. There's no sense in me doing an entire quilt block today. I'm going to go into the selection tool and I'm going to select multiple pieces. So I'm just going to tap. Until I get down to one. So I've got one that's not selected, right? I'm going to say okay. And now I'll just put those in the trash can. It'll ask me if I'm sure I want to do that. Yes, I am. And I'll say okay. So now I'm down to one piece. If I had, I could certainly cut all of those. That is not what I wanted to do. So we're going to go ahead and touch OK. And we will say OK again. As I said, I have a full mat. And I only have one piece that I'm going to cut. And I put it in the middle. But if I didn't, let's say I had, I'll cut this one. We're going to show you the scan feature here, right? Let's say I'm using my scraps, all right? And I don't have a full piece, and I want to know where this could actually land. I would come in and load my mat, and I would be here on my layout screen. And there's a little magical button called the scanner, and that's what sets this machine apart from most other cutting machines, is it has the scan feature in it. So I would touch my scan. It's a background scan, and it's going to take a picture of what's down on my mat. It's not going to detect it. It's taking a picture of it so I can visually place it. That lets me use every scrap in my arsenal. If I didn't, that is hands down what makes this machine outstanding over other cutting machines, because it does have that built-in scanner. Sorry guys, the allergies in this place are killing me. So I can come and take this over here and drag it in to know that it's going to fit. And if it wouldn't fit that way, what could I do? Well, I could go into the machine and touch edit. I can touch object edit, and then I can use the onboard editing tools. This lets me resize it. That would let me duplicate it. This lets me rotate it. I can rotate it 1 degree left or right, 10 degrees left or right, or 90 degrees left or right. So if I felt like it could fit in better by rotating it slightly, I could do that. Okay? That is what sets this machine apart from others. And you can zoom in up to 400% to where you can get exactly where you want it to be. Now, the other part of that, being able to do that background scan, let's say I had a specific piece of fabric, a pattern on that fabric that I wanted to nab. I can scan that in, and I can see to place my shape over the top of that piece of fabric. All right, I'm going to unload this, and we're going to draw our seam allowances. So we'll go back. Let me rotate it back to where it's upright. What did I do? Right there. And we'll say OK. And we'll load this in. Let it go. Now, I have my thin fabric auto blade in, but I want to switch this out because I'm going to draw my seam allowances first, and then I'm going to cut it out. So I'm going to move my pattern over here to the left side, and then we'll say OK. And now it's going to say, what do you want to do today? Because it can do more than cut. It can draw, it can foil, it can cut, and it can emboss. I'm going to come in here and say, I want you to cut. Actually, I want you to draw today because I draw before I cut. This little cartridge right here is our drawing cartridge that comes with the machine. In addition to that, it comes with 2 pens, an air erasable, which is the purple one, and a water erasable marker. If you're going to be doing this immediately, you could use the air erasable. If it's going to be a while, you might want to use your water erasable. And if you want to use a different style pen, you can get the optional universal pen holder. There's a small barrel and a large barrel that you can get. Then you can use any pen you want to. Okay? All right. So you take your lid off. You open the garbage can lid. There's a little button right here. And you open the little garbage can lid. Pop your pen in, snap it in place, and put the lid on top so you don't lose it. They think of everything. I love that. And then you push it in. Put it in. If you have to shove your blade or your pen in, you put it in the wrong way. Okay? There's a flat side to every one of them. That's how the machine knows what's in it. It won't let you use something with an operation if it doesn't know what's in it. So back here, there are different grooves, and that tells it what it's doing. So if you have to shove it in there, you have done something wrong. Turn your machine off and turn it back on, and it will get back in recalibrated. We're going to go ahead and say start, and it's going to draw. So it's telling me my scanner lever is at position 1. And when it's drawing, it wants me to raise that scanner lever up. The reason being, it doesn't want to smear the ink. So the scanner glass is on the bottom side of that. So there's a little lever right here on the side, right here, that raises up and down, and you just put that lever up. And then we say start, and it's going to draw my seam allowance in. All right, I'm going to take that back out. And now it says it's done drawing. Oh, can y'all see that? It's done drawing. Select my next part. All right. I'm not going to select the next part. I'm going to say finish. And I'm going to say please select. And I'm going to tell it to cut. Because I don't want it to take me back to where the pieces were of this pattern. I want it to continue working on what I'm working on. If I said select next part, it's going to take me to the next part of the quilt pattern. Okay. So we're going to put in our fabric blade. And we're going to say start. And it's going to cut around it. So it's going to have draw my seam allowance in there. And you can set your seam allowance up to whatever you want it to be. I think this one is set at 1/4 inch. I didn't even look, to be honest. But you can set it. It's when it comes to an inch measurement, it will change to inches. If it's a metric measurement and there's not an English equivalent, then it will not. So this time I'm done with cutting this one piece, right? So I can say select the next part. Takes me back to my quilt pattern that I started with at the finished size block. I pick the next piece that I want to cut. It shows me where those are. Okay. It's gonna have 4 of those pieces in there. And it's gonna say, I'll say okay, just like the other one. It's added my seam allowance in for my 6-inch block, and it knows it needs 4 per block. If I had needed more than 1 block, I could have increased that number to 8 or to 12. I believe I could max out 12 on the previous piece. I have no clue. But since you all weren't sitting here the first time, I'll go ahead and show you. I just hit an obnoxious number and say set, and it tells me how many of those I can fit on the mat. So at its max size, I can say 8 of those would fit on my mat if I had a full sheet of fabric down on it. Using my 12-inch mat. Now, if I were using a different mat, I can go into my settings. I can change my cut area from 12 inches to 24 inches instead if I would rather. All right, guys. So if you don't want, just so you know, if you do not want to stiffen your fabric, you could also use a rotary auto blade instead. It rolls, it does not drag. This is a slower method, but you don't have to have the fabric mat. You don't have to use the fabric mat. You can use standard mat. You don't have to stiffen your fabric because you won't be putting on as high of a tack of a mat, so it's not going to shred when you take it off. That's why we stiffen our fabric. It's not so that it will cut it. It's so that when you take it off, it will not fray into teeny tiny shreds of fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and unload this, and I will show you what I got. The cool part about this is it does cut your corners for you, okay? So if you're using one of the built-in patterns, it does cut your corners for you. Y'all are more than welcome to pass that around. Oops, there it goes floating in space. Where did this go? All right, so this one right here is a built-in pattern, and you can see how precise it is. And this one right here is one that I pulled out of our advanced quilt design software, just so that you kind of have an idea of how both of them work. Okay. My seam allowances, I did draw on both of them. However, I used a heat removable pin, and when I pressed them, guess what? The marks are gone. So I like my heat removable pins. That is my thing. There are also, just so you know, not only are there the 140 built-in quilt patterns that are in here, you also have some applique patterns and Dresden quilt patterns. If I go into the one that has Sunbonnet Sue in here, and I go into the Sunbonnet Sue area, this is where you'll find Dresden plates. You'll find some applique patterns in here as well. You can use these for other things other than quilting if you want. It's not like you're stuck into quilting. So if you wanted to do this with adhesive vinyl or heat transfer vinyl instead of using them as a quilt, you could certainly do that. But it does the same thing. It will make it, you make it the finished size, and it breaks it down into the parts for you. So if I change this to be 5 inches, and I say, okay, there are all of my pieces that it's going to break it up into. If I want them all to land on the page at the same time, I can choose this one right here. So if I wanted to just have everything down, I'm only going to make one of them, and I just want to arrange my part pieces down there and scan my background, then I would choose this one, because then I can just move things around. If I want to do one part at a time, I would pick them up. Now, I would sit here and personally tell you, if I were doing this pattern, I would pick up one green, I would come back in and say add, it would bring me right back to the screen. I'd pick up the second green, I'd come back in and say add, and I'd pick up the third one. And then I would duplicate those however many times I needed them, just because that keeps me from coming back and forth. There are also Polynesian patterns in here. So these are our more Hawaiian Polynesian patterns. And then there are our birthday patterns. So you have the birthday years, candles, and then you have the cake, birthday cake. So if you have, there are quite a few of our embroidery machines that also have this pattern as an applique, that these are in it. So I know the Laminaire has it. I'm pretty sure the Stellaire has it. I'm pretty sure the Dream Machine had it. And I'm positive the new Aveneer will have these in it as well. So these are our typical birthday things. So that is there. Do I have any questions that I haven't kind of answered on this? Okay. Okay, they will not go in they won't. Okay, so if you start from I'm going to sit here and tell you the truth. This one's the fattest. Okay, so if you look at the barrel of the blade, it has a really chunky, fat barrel. If you try to put that in the fabric blade, it will not go in there. Okay, so it'll only go in the one that it fits in. Otherwise, it would be jiggling. Okay, so the chunkiest one is going to be the black auto blade. Your finest one is going to be the blue vinyl auto blade. This one is the in-between. Okay. At least that, to my knowledge, that this is the in-between, because the point is different. So the point on the vinyl auto blade, the blue holder, is the finest point. Okay, it has the finest tip. You're welcome. Other questions? Y'all want me to go back and do the beginning of it and do one more so you can see exactly how it works again? Since some of you were not here at the beginning. There are 140 patterns in there. That doesn't mean I can't scan in my own, because the beauty of the ScanNCut is that if you can scan something in, you can cut it back out. So if I want to cut my own out, I can. If I were only doing 4-inch squares, I would simply come into my shapes. I would pick my square, and I would make it 4 inches, or however big you want it to be. tell it how many you're actually, I would not tell it how many at this point. I would say it's set and do one. And then I would go into edit and I would do object edit and I would add a seam allowance right there. You can pick what seam allowance you want it to be. This is set at a quarter, but if you want to go to different measurements, you certainly can do that. Default is 1/4 of an inch. Turn your seam allowance on and say okay. Now I have a seam allowance around my square. Then, excuse me, come in and duplicate it. I know I can't do 9 blocks in a 4-inch on one thing. Let me get real here. But we may be able to do 4. We'll see. Say okay. Say okay again, and then come in here and touch the auto arrange key, and have them do a straight. I'll back up. Hold on. Auto arrange is right here. That one. There you go. And then you can do them straight up and down. There you go. Now, there is a set distance between these. I usually take my pattern interval up a little bit, and I'll tell you why. If I'm doing it on my fabric map and I leave it at 1 millimeter distance between them, I have shreds of fabric, and that's a lot of cleaning of my map. So I'll bump it up 1 so that I have a little bit thicker strip in between them. It's not a lot of ways, but it's enough to where it's not just shredded fabric. And then I say okay. So now it's giving it a little bit more space between them. I've got 2 millimeters as opposed to 1, and I'm not going to have, it will give me about this much space. So it's not going to shred my fabric. Okay. That's what I tend to do. I mean, you could butt them right up to each other if you wanted to, but I think that's the better route to do it. I'm going to sit here and say this one more time. Draw first, cut second if you plan on drawing it. If you add your seam allowance, that does not mean you have to draw it. It just means you've added a seam allowance in there. If you want to draw it, by all means do. If you don't care a thing about having it drawn, you just want it there, then you can skip that step. Instead, I'll say okay here, and instead of drawing, I could go straight to cut. So, yes, you've got a 1/4 inch foot, you're one. So, yeah, you don't necessarily have to do that. So, I mean, it all depends on what you want to do. I tend not to draw mine in for the most part unless I'm teaching a class on how to use a ScanNCut. But if you need, it's great because it lets you skip that if you're an advanced person, but it lets you leave it in if you're not an advanced, if you're a beginner. So it gives you that option. Okay. Other questions? All right, if you have any other questions, please come by and see myself or Emily back over in the ScanNCut area. All right. You're welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I forgot to introduce myself, didn't I? Hi, my name was Cindy. Depends on which model you get, okay? The show price on the 330
And you're live. Maybe we're not live.
I'm not live. Good. I'm not live. So I need to Yeah. They won't let you do. They are. Live? Oh, I thought we were not. All right. So the awkward me just looking in the camera, huh? So I'm Alexis, brother educator. I'm here at the AllBrands booth at the Houston Quilt Festival. If you're not here, please get here. All right, so you can see me at all my silly awkward moments. You just saw one a moment ago. But I have a couple things I want to tell you about. So we're talking about the PR machines. We have 3 in our lineup. We're going to start first with our PR1X. This is a worker horse. Listen, it's a single needle. It's stages 4. So let's count them. I only have 2 up here right now. 1, 2, 3, 4 threads up here, but it's going to stitch one at a time. Okay. The beauty of this one, it also uses an 8x12 hoop size. Right now I have my hat hooped. We can now do caps on the flat brim. And as you see on this one, it gets us really, really, really close down to the brim of the hat. All right. I was also able to do the back of it. Look at that. There's a name back there. There's a number on the side. So just think of what kinds of personalizations you can do on a hat. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about are the fonts that goes with this one. So this is our 3D font. All right. You're going to find that this font is now on all 3 machines, but I can do it on this one because remember I told you I have that 8x12 stitch field. I hooped it, stitched it, and it's with 3D puff. So this is especially digitized, kind of turn it to the side. It's raised. So you have your foam underneath there. Okay. Then I have another font that is only native to this machine. All right. Everyone loves these mama ones. So I layer it on here. And then I can do that stitch out. I just added my little bunny ears to that one. That's cute. And this is also in my 8x12. All right, so let's move over to my 680W. This is going to be my 6 needle. No, 5.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
All right, so we are here on my 6 needle. This is the PR 680W. Possibly. Okay, let me be honest with you. I'm going to say everything is my favorite because it is. All right, so this is going to be my 8x12 hoop size. You know what? 8x12 hoop size. And I have my 8 arm on here now. So this one is going to give me I'm going to give you a demo of it. So this one's going to give me a 2-point position. So who has problems like getting your designs centered or getting them hooped? I will go select my 2-point position. And then I can use any of these to position it and it'll rotate it. Now I would use, let's go to, I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to save this to memory because that's super cute. I want to come back to that. All right, so we saved it to the memory, to the machine. All right, let's start over. We're going to start from home, and you'll see how fast I'm able to edit things. We'll get something really small, like the little mushroom. And let's say I hooped something crooked on here, because we do that sometimes. I hooped it crooked, and I want to make sure that it's going to be straight on my design. Use my 2-point position. I want to use my center. I'm going to go to next. I'm going to tell it to align it going center out. So we're going to select that one. Next. And then on my machine here, it's going to tell me align my middle crosshairs right here. So if it's up on this area, I would move my middle crosshair up on the angle. And then we're just going to imagine that I have something drawn here because I didn't think that one through before. But when I touch set, you see how it automatically rotated that? It was right side up, but it rotated. So if I had something on there and let's say it was a line right up underneath there, I could get it right on that line. All right. All right. So there's a ton of different fonts. There's a ton of different designs that you can use with this one. You can also use it with Wi-Fi. So what makes it special about using the Wi-Fi? You can do things with ArtSpirit. If you have not downloaded the ArtSpirit app, it's time. Do it now. ArtSpirit app is free. This is me. So I don't know if you can tell or not. This is actually me. I was sitting in the airport one day. I was sitting in the airport one day and I just kind of took my own selfie, got home, loaded onto Art Spirit, and stitched it out. Took no time. Okay. And by doing that, I'm going to use my wireless function. It's going to be in my memory pocket there. If I had saved something, it would automatically pop up the same way you would do with any of your other saved designs to the machine, similar to that. Okay. All right, so that is my PR680W. The next one that I have for you is going to be my 1055X. All right, this is the, I mean, I guess I'll call it the big brother of everything. This is going to give us 10 needles. All right, so that means 10 different color changes that you can kind of set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about it once you put it there. This is going to have the largest stitch fill is going to be a 8x14, but then you also have a 14x14 repositional hoop that you would realign in software so you can do a split design, turn it around, and do the same thing. All right. This also gives us the option. Let's say, all right, so let's get that off there. I'm going to show you the camera in just a moment because the camera is the star of the show with this baby. All right, let's delete all of that. I'm gonna delete that because we're gonna start over. I want to show you all a clean slate. So let's say I want to do a patch of some sort. I would find a cute little guy on here, touch set, and then use my shield button, and that's gonna give me the applique area. All right, I can choose that, and that's what's gonna give me the outline of it. And I was able to do something really similar to that, and I added the word kind underneath it. All right, so that's my hat. And shameless plug, this was done on my flat brim cap frame. So just check out how close I got down to the bottom of that right there. How close. This one also, since it has a larger stitch fill, we can use a ear to ear cap driver. So that one allows you to stitch the left side all the way to the right side clean through. You don't have to do any rehooping. Okay. All right. Next, we can do beautiful jacket backs. Who does in the hoop zipper pouches? Look how big you can make this zipper pouch. All right. So this can be done on any of the larger hoops. That's the best thing about all of these machines. You're gonna at least get your 8x12 hoop size. So this can be done on any of your larger hoops. And then actually in my design center, that's where I went in and kind of did some special effects on the background. All right, and stay tuned. Make sure you all are watching all week. I'm going to be doing different options on different things. So I'll do like something with my design center. There's been a viral trend going on, and I really want to show you how we can do it on this machine. But it'll be later in the week. You gotta keep watching this. You gotta hang in here with us. All right. So this is one of my favorite clips to show. It's because I can pull in my design center and then stitch around it, and then these little flying geese areas. I didn't stitch around it at all, and I can do each panel and design it however I want it to go. Stippling, stitching there. All right. Oh my. And I know I don't have any places. One more thing that I want to show you. Oh, it was the camera. You almost let me forget. It was the camera. The camera almost let me forget the camera. So let's say I want to bring in my design. Let's say it's I never can think of a good design at the spur of the moment. So I would just scan it, and it's going to tell me it's going to move, and it's going to scan my entire hoop. Now, I don't have anything on there right now, but you'll see that the background is going to change, and it's going to show exactly what is in my hoop. So the darkness of there is the color of my hoop, color of my fabric hoop. And then I can move it. Watch this with my finger. Take it, move it up, down, around and around. All right. We also have options for snowman stickers. We have the option for the live camera. So that means it's going to be in live real time, a very, I call it like vibrant full color. Okay, so you can see everything on Facebook. I'm getting so excited. I think I forgot what else I want to show you. Okay. All right, so we have some of the sashing frames on here, sashing borders. So take a look at some of those you can choose from. All right. 20 of them to choose from. Let's just pull one up and see. Ooh, these roses are good. What girl doesn't like to get roses? Now, the way this works, you will measure out your area that you want. So it's anywhere from 4.72 inches to 118.11 inches in the length, and the same for the width or the height. And then you'll have your the size of the sashing border. You would do that from 1.18 to 3.94. So let's just make up one. Let's say it is, let's just say 76 by 98. And then let's just say our border is 2 inches tall. No, let's go 3. All right, so now what it does, it tells us, it breaks it down into 42 pieces. Don't let that intimidate you. We have a magnetic frame that you stitch an area. It's going to stitch that. It'll dot, dot, dot. That's telling you it's going to move. And then it'll stitch the next ones, dot, 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 move. And then when it gets to the end, it stitches your corner. You go back down all the way around. All right. It saves it to the memory. All right. Data was saved to the memory and it's ready to embroider. So here's your memory. You pull it up. And these are all of your pieces. All right. So don't worry if you have to stop somewhere in between. If you have power loss or something like that, you come right back, pull it up, whichever one you're going to stitch. All right. Each one of them. And then you would use your camera to match it up. All right, so then we would stitch that one here, and then we're going to match up this corner line here, and that's how I know where to go. So let's say I stitched that one already, I would just match up and then begin stitching. All right, so I mean, it's kind of, you kind of can't mess this up. That's why I like it, because you know me. If you've watched me before, I make a couple of mistakes, but I fix them real easily. All right. So here's another design. So this is going to be our steampunk. This is in the machine.
There's gears on there.
There's gears on here. This is not my sample. This one was done by Leanne. And yeah, she has gears. She says, enjoy the journey. I asked her if we could use it as a sample. She said, this is my actual bag. Look at that. But wait, there's more. Super cute. Talk too fast. All right, so let's go with some more of our samples. All right, this is just another panel that we did here. And you can use your stipple stitching to go around that. And the best thing, I think I mentioned it, but I'll mention it again. Most of the designs, most of the sizes, you can choose any one of these machines. I have all of them. Now I'm drawn to my 10 needle because of the camera. All right, because of the camera. So should we stitch something? Let's stitch this one. So where shall I put it? Okay, so right there on the side. So I'm gonna put my hand right there. We're not gonna leave our hand there for stitching. Do not leave your hand there for stitching. All right, so let's first take this off of the screen.
Shall I have the ladies come over here where you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have time come over.
Was leading them over here.
Huh? Okay, I'll move.
All right, so we're gonna go over that when they get back here too. All right, let's put a name. I spelled that right, didn't I? All right, so we'll pull up our camera. All right, so I'm gonna just remember that little spot right there. I'm gonna look at it. did a little nail in it. So remember my little spot was right here. So I'm gonna bring it down right there to where it was at. Right. But I can't see it. Can't see what's going on because it's black thread on gray fabric. I can't see what's going on. So for the sake of my editing, I'm gonna change my color to like maybe it's Halloween. We have a good orange going on here. Right? Orange. I should have done red for all brands. That would have made sense. Right, and then once I go to edit in, I can start stitching. It's going to start right down there. Now, before I do that, I want to choose my thread. So it's going to tell me that my colors are set up as follows, but my orange is actually on thread number 6. So on 6, I can either go to my thread swap and I can tell it to swap it with number 6. Okay, and that will swap it. Or I like to use my magic wand. My magic wand gets it in there really fast and really easily. All right, so it was 6 of it. Anyway, that's okay. Off. And I'll give us a little stitch out. It's rich, right? Okay. I like that for I just haven't used it. We're gonna go home. We're gonna play. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna go on Brother Art's Spirit and do some free design. I have to figure out. So this will stitch. All of them will stitch 1,000 stitches per minute. So if you come by and see me here at the show, I've slowed it down to like 400 stitches per minute. But I like to at home in my own studio. I run it at 1,000 stitches per minute. So look at this. So you'll see it start up, and then you'll see it ramp up. How fast it goes. So that's going to cut down my production time. All right. I may slow it down sometimes if I'm doing something delicate, like something that has a lot of dent stitches. If I'm doing something like freestanding lace, I'll slow it down. But in general, I'm wide open. I go wide open 1,000 stitches per minute. Stitch to your company. I want to show you, like I said, hang in here all week. I'm going to show you one more thing that we can do on here, but I used a specialty hoop. I'm going to show more about that on my other hooping difficult items. Up tomorrow. I'll come back first. I did a pair of boots. Imagine doing boots on this machine. All right, I only bought one with me because my suitcase is kind of heavy. But imagine stitching boots. So these are the tall boots, but you can do them on the lower boots. I've done lower boots. I've even done Converse. I've done a couple of Converse shoes where I did the ladybug on the side of it. You can do a design. You can do your monogram. But imagine doing those and whether you want to sell them, gift them, anything. I had a couple people come by today and they were like, you have to run a business to get this machine. You do not have to run a business to get this machine. You will probably wind up going into business after you get this machine because everybody's going to see it and they're going to say, oh, I want one, I want one, I want one. And then you're going to start making money so that you can either buy another one or pay off this one or buy more thread, stash, more fabric. I mean, whatever you want to do with it. But it turns into a business really fast. I really enjoy it. I think my favorite thing to do would be my hat. The profit margin on hats, it's a really good profit margin. You get a hat for anywhere from $1 to maybe $5, depending on the quality of the hat you want to get. Sell it online somewhere. $30. think of that profit margin. All right. So it's going to pay for itself 100% for sure. 100% for sure. All right. We're almost done with this here. Done with this here. If you're just tuning in, I can go back over some of the other ones that we've talked about. We talked about stitching with Art Spira. Talked about stitching with Art Spira. If you have not downloaded the Art Spira app, I'm telling you, go ahead and do it. It's free. It's a free Art Spira app. You can stitch it. You can use it with our printer. You can use it with our sublimation printer. You can use it with your ScanNCut, and all of those you can, you know. I hate being cliche and saying the possibilities are endless, but I mean, what else can we say with this? All right. We're almost done here. I just did another zipper pouch in the hoop. So I showed the other one. Hello, how are you? I showed my in the hoop zipper pouch. So this is a custom fill that we use actually by Cindy. I don't know where she is right now. It's one of her own personal custom fills. But look at that. So I used my design center and I was able to add this custom fill in there. I even did an applique on that and added the name in there. So look at that. Check out. It's fully lined. I say that this is the one that we messed up on and it's not lined. So see, we do make mistakes. Typically, it's fully lined. But yeah, I was able to go into my design center, bring in some of the custom fills for the top, the bottom, applique and stitch it out. And actually, this piece right here was done on the ScanNCut. So you would cut it out with your ScanNCut because you've made the design in my design center. Send it over and send it over as let me step over here so it's not as loud. But send it over from there. Have your cutout already. That way you don't have to worry about the cutting and the snipping with the applique scissors. But I don't know about you. Sometimes I get a little, I don't want to say lazy, but maybe the scissors slip and I have a little oopsie on my applique. So cutting it out on the ScanNCut will help to align it even better. All right. So let's check back in on our stitch out. I did do toes. Addicted to watching. This is awesome. So I'm doing a Facebook Live and I'm saying all of the wonderful AllBrands customers what makes this machine great. All right. We talked about it has a camera. We talked about it has my design center. I was able to create it on there. Yep. Yep. So that's the stand. He made a good point on. I'm gonna still talk to some other people online too. He made a good point. The stand that what you don't see it on is a stand. It comes with the stand. We have a nice. There we go. Finished importing this stand. It's sturdy. I've put I think 3 together at my own home. It has the area where you can automatically add on your cap, your hooping station for it, and it's sturdy. Right there. This is for caps. Like that. Where's my cap go? It's so much easier.
Oh.
This is how where I would so that's super cool. And then I can do a cast on either one of these machines because we have the single needle that stages 4, we have the 10 needle, and we have a 6 needle. We'll discuss pricing after I get off live.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and get a close in on that. We did finish that up. It says AllBrands because that's where we are all weekend at the Houston Quilt Festival. Come back by and see me. I told you I have some other lives that I'm going to be doing, and you're not going to miss them. Bye.